TSU head coach Eddie George. Tigers coming off a loss at Murray State. They're going to be home. They're going to host nationally ranked SEMO this weekend. So, Coach, just some thoughts on your team. Then we'll go to some questions.
Last week was a rough week for us. Went up to Murray State, a team that was hungry for a win, a quality football team that didn't have the breaks go their way. Went up there and was really, not surprised, but didn't answer the bell when we needed to. It came in with a great game plan. We certainly didn't help ourselves with 13 penalties. Really self-sabotaged ourselves in that regard. Had a chance to win the ball game, but didn't come up with enough impact plays to pull off a victory. And that happens in this league. And now we face a SEMO team that's nationally ranked, well coached. One thing that sticks out to me, that jumps out on tape, is how physical they are on both sides of the football, especially up front. They have great balance offensively. They have the best running back in the OVC and possibly in FCS football, Geno Hess. And they have great balance. Big wide receivers. They can go up and catch the ball, the 50-50 balls. And defensively, they fly around. They do an outstanding job of tackling, corralling to the football. They play great complementary football, and we have our work cut out for us this weekend.
Thanks, Coach. We got some questions. Mike had a personal thing and couldn't join us, so he wanted me to ask you too. As we got started, you alluded to it. Are you concerned that about your team committing a season high 13 penalties, including 8 illegal procedures this late in the season?
Well, no. We didn't have that issue earlier on, and for whatever reason, we weren't on the same page. And it set us back. A lot of it had to do with a lot of the shifting up front. Our guys were not locked in and focused on what they needed to do, and that became an issue. And I expect to see that this weekend as well. That's what I would do. So that's a part of the process of growing up and learning to become a team that can be competitive week in and week out.
And then you've already talked a little bit about SEMO. In generalities, he wants to know, you still have the 2 best OVC teams on the rankings, SEMO and UT Martin, your schedule. Just talk about wins over both of them would be huge to close out, the remainder of the season.
Yeah. Anytime we line up against a quality opponent, we want to try to win. Clearly, both SEMO, we're just focusing on them this week. UT Martin presents another challenge for us, but that's what we aim to do. And we want to finish out the season strong and let the chips fall where they may.
Brandon, you can go ahead with your question for Coach.
Good. I always do this. Good afternoon, Coach. How you doing?
Doing well, and yourself?
Pretty good. Mike took a little bit of my thunder with this question, but I kind of want to stay on that a little bit. I know you had previously talked about there was a lapse of focus amongst the team earlier in the season. With the amount of penalties and considering you had mentioned that a lot of them were outside of the play in terms of when they happened, did you feel like some of those habits or whatever those distractions may have been reared their ugly head? And was there anything that you may have saw in practice that may have given you an inkling that may be afoot?
No, we focused on it. We worked on it all week. We knew exactly what they were going to do in terms of stemming from front to front and pulling us off sides. We held up in practice pretty well, but for some strange reason, the first 5 plays of the game were 3 penalties. We overcame them, and then we set ourselves back. And that's just a lack of focus on the road. I think it has a lot to do with in-game anxiety. And that's something we have to grow through. I mean, that's the bottom line. Again, you can control the pre and post snap penalties. We can coach through the penalties that happen in the play, the holdings, the PIs. But when you're dealing with personal fouls and jumping off sides, that has everything to do with discipline, and that's going to be handled. And we're handling it as I see fit in-house.
Okay. Fantastic. Kyle, I know, do I have time for a follow-up?
Yeah, go ahead, Brandon.
Okay. From a health standpoint, we're able to get through the game pretty healthy without too many people being nicked up.
No, we got some nicks and bruises, but nothing too detrimental to either side of the football. We got some guys that are coming back this week, which can help us defensively and also on the offensive side of the football. But for the most part, we came out relatively healthy.
Okay.
Last question, Coach, and we'll let you go then. Just playing at home again. We've talked about you've had some good crowds and playing a tough opponent at home. What kind of difference does that make?
It makes a huge difference. Anytime you have a home field advantage where you have a crowd that's into it, that's raucous, that's energetic, we relish that. So anytime, especially when we're playing against a worthy opponent in SEMO, we want to have as many fans out there as possible, and hopefully they'll come out and support us.
Well, Coach, thanks for your time as always. Best of luck on Saturday, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you.